Good day. My name is David Wild, and this is the final part of a three-part lecture on Chapter 4 on the organizational environment from Connect Master Management 2.0. Let's take a look at managing in today's organizational environment. Although managers have always dealt with urgent and critical issues, the nature of these situations continues to evolve. Today's environment is much more complex and dynamic than just 15 years ago. We have witnessed the unprecedented influences of numerous events and advances since the turn of this century. Some of these include the worldwide financial crises, terrorist activities such as 9/11, social networking issues and development with platforms like Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and more. Numerous lapses in ethical judgments in terms of Wall Street and the stock market, sustainability concerns, and a look at renewable energy. Communication shifts occurring between email, smartphones, and the use of video conferencing, web-based businesses growing and flourishing in the world of e-commerce, intensive delivery of information such as what we see today through streaming and satellite television, outsourcing and offshoring jobs moving to India and the Philippines and beyond, and global shifts in economic power and status, such as the growth of China and India. These are only some of the events in the last 2 decades that have created our current volatile business environment. And I would add, since the publication of the textbook, we've had not only the global pandemic with COVID-19 and the concern rising over social justice and the development of the Black Lives Matter movement. Current managerial issues and challenges. While managers face many challenges, several are particularly important and influential in today's business environment. Although some of these issues are relatively new challenges to be addressed, others have been around for decades, but have not diminished in importance. Let's talk about some of these here. First, diversity. By the year 2024, we will have more minorities and women entering the U.S. workforce than white males. Hispanics will be the largest segment of the minority labor force at around 20%. Couple this with retirement ages being pushed back due to the Great Recession of 2008-2009 and the current economic issues of today, I would add, and mentally and physically challenged individuals being more accepted in the workplace, and we are definitely looking at a much more diverse, older workforce than we have ever had before. Therefore, how this diversity is handled will continue to grow in importance. Diversity can be defined as the different personal characteristics that set individuals apart in the workplace, such as gender, age, race, sexual orientation, and other factors. Globalization. One of the more popular business books published over the last decade was entitled The World is Flat, authored by Thomas L. Friedman, a journalist for the New York Times. The premise of his book speaks to the shrinking of the world's business environment and the new opportunities and threats that this creates. This is referred to as globalization, or the increased interaction and integration of economic, political, technological, and sociocultural systems across different geographic regions. While corporations can view the entire world as their overall theater of operations, international competition, which at one time seemed so far away, is now much closer and far more aggressive than ever before. Many managers and business graduates continue to have local experiences and training, and globalization might affect certain industries in different ways than others. So, managers need to prepare for the changes in business in the coming years. The global economy should continue to be robust and dynamic over the next few years, as unexpected shifts and events always seem to take place, as we well know. A changing workforce. Today's workforce is different than ever before. It is more educated, technologically savvy, and increasingly demanding. The current workforce seeks more fulfillment from their jobs and more balance in their careers. In addition to the changing worker, there are numerous changes to the workplace. A 9 to 5 schedule is increasingly scarce. Many employees now telecommute from their homes or remote locations instead of working in a company office. And today's workers are more independent, driven, self-motivated, and autonomous than ever before. Furthermore, many of today's workers participate in a thriving gig economy. The gig economy, which emphasizes temporary and freelance work, has turned about 35% of the workforce into independent contractors. Although these positions provide no job security or other benefits, they are both dynamic and flexible and appealing to certain individuals in the workforce. Technology. One of the biggest developments over the last 15 years has certainly been the tremendous leap forward in technology. Today, technology makes time and location of communication and interaction unimportant, as most people utilize laptops and wireless technology to participate in a number of online activities. Organizations that have kept on the forefront of the technology curve have been the main beneficiaries of this technology explosion. If the recent past is any predictor of the near future, technological advances, especially in the utilization of artificial intelligence to facilitate effective decision making, will continue to alter the corporate landscape for many years to come. Innovation. The challenge to innovate has been around for many years, but becomes more of a focal point as we move forward. Innovation involves looking at things differently and being creative in selecting solutions. Innovation forces organizations to assess and systematize their knowledge resources in order to find new solutions to ongoing problems so that companies can gain a competitive advantage. This is also called knowledge management. Now, in continuing our look at managing in today's organizational environment, sustainability has certainly become one of the most pressing topics in recent years, as sustainability looks at managing business operations in a way today that does not hurt future generations. Specifically, sustainability deals with the integration of environmentalism and social responsibility into the organization's business strategies. Sustainable management practices not only benefit society, but also satisfy many organizational members as economic, environmental, and social concerns are addressed and resolved as the organization moves toward its goals. Next, customer service. Without customers, there are no organizations. A successful manager truly understands customers' value and does almost anything to foster and nurture this relationship. Being able to accurately profile the customer and to train workers to effectively serve these customers are two of the manager's most important tasks. As many developed countries have now moved toward a service sector economy, customer service has become even more important than it was before. Outsourcing and offshoring. One of the more scrutinized issues over the past few years has been the increased use of outsourcing. Outsourcing involves subcontracting with outside vendors to provide specific services that were previously done in-house. This strategy frees up the organization to focus on other activities in-house. Related to the concept of outsourcing, offshoring is the process of sourcing work, primarily business support activities, to organizations in other countries. The public perception of offshoring is that it is mostly used to trim labor costs by contracting with foreign corporations in cheaper labor markets. Critics of offshoring point to American jobs being shipped abroad, trouble understanding foreign customer service agents, and the loss of knowledge as just a few of the issues that exist with this practice. Economic turbulence. The economic turbulence of the Great Recession revealed how much of an effect the economy has on business practices. Mastering effective managerial practices during periods of economic uncertainty will create a dedicated work culture, stimulate loyalty, encourage low turnover, maintain high job satisfaction, and facilitate overall positive organizational climate. It is imperative in good economic times and in bad that successful managers be able to navigate their organization steadily through even the most turbulent of times. Finally, ethical management. Ethics are principles that dictate right versus wrong while espousing a code of conduct based on these values. While high ethical standards have always been viewed as good policy to follow or the right thing to do, ethical conduct is now considered a necessary part of any business strategy. Finally, let's look at the current importance of effective management. The role of management in today's business environment is extremely important. How managers react to the challenges that the environment presents sets the tone for the entire organization. With the level of influence and responsibility that managers possess in the current business environment, they should have a strong working knowledge of the business environment and how best to operate within its boundaries and constraints. Only then will they be able to maximize the use of the organization's resources to assist the organization in effectively meeting its goals. So, in summary, in looking at managing in today's organizational environment, today's managers operate in an environment completely different than just 15 years ago. This environment presents a host of challenges, obstacles, and threats to an organization's survival. Navigating this environment is the job of an effective manager. Factors that affect the organizational environment may include worldwide financial crises, terrorist activities, social networking issues, lapses in ethical judgment, sustainability concerns, shifts in modes of communication and information, e-commerce, outsourcing and offshoring, and global shifts in economic power and status. And with that, we conclude our lecture on Chapter 4 on the organizational environment.